Yes, yes, you are audible.
Thank you. So, again, a big thank you to all those who have made it to this session. Like Otieno has mentioned, my name is Moses Care. I work with the Palladium KenyaEMR project, where I'm a health informatics specialist. So today I have the honor and privilege of taking you through just the reports in KenyaEMR, with a very specific emphasis on the version that is currently out there, the latest version around, which is version 18.42. So I'll want us just to go down and get to see some of those reports that have been newly added. Other than the new reports that have been added, again, we'll also take time to just go through some of the existing reports that have had amendments, some changes, just to, based on the feedback that we have been receiving from, especially from the users, to make them more usable. So that is what our training will be all about today. We'll try as much as possible to make it as interactive as it can be. And like it has been pointed out by Otieno, let us utilize the Q&A chat box to just throw in any questions that we might be having, so that we can attend to them, because I realize that probably we may not have the time to take all the questions, but you can type the questions as we go. So the outline of our presentation today and our training basically is going to be, just some very brief introduction to KenyaEMR reports. Like it has been pointed out by Faith, sometimes we tend to assume that we everyone probably knows. So what might be obvious to me might not be obvious to somebody else. So because we get new staffs each and every other day in the different facilities and even in the different programs. So it will just be a good thing for us to also just get to induct the participants on this. Then we shall also just briefly touch on the reporting prerequisites, what you need to do before you can probably generate your reports. And then now we'll go show you where to access the report feature in KenyaEMR, and then how the reports have been categorized. Uh, and then now, yeah, just look up briefly at the new reports, especially those that came out with the version 18.42, and also look at report and line lists that have been fixed or amended, like I said, and then a brief demo just to show some of those reports that we shall have mentioned. So most of the times we ask ourselves, why do you think it's necessary for us to even just utilize EMRs? Let me start from the utilization of the EMR first, because by using EMR, that means that there's a benefit that you want to, all of us want to derive from utilizing EMR. One of them is just the ability for us to have the reports automated. Those of us with a background of medical records know that using those tally sheets is not a very pleasant experience, and if you are given another way around it, it's not something that you want to do. Tallying and tallying and tallying. So yeah, so one of the key benefits of automating reports is that is the amount of time it saves in just what I refer to as the manual data wrangling processes. So it saves a lot of time, and the removal of these manual processes frees up a significant time for system users. In this case, I'm looking at our data guys, our monitoring and evaluation guys in the facility. So there's the time that you're saved by having your reports automated can be put into other meaningful use that will benefit the client more, and also just try and improve on the clinical outcomes and drive better decisions, such as probably doing, conducting analysis now based on the information that you've collected, and not just having not just seeing your work as that of at the end of the month compiling a report and submitting it. So it gives you a lot of time to do. So like I've pointed out here, there's a quote here by one Daniel Keys Moran, that you can have data without information, but you cannot have sorry, oh, that I've lost allow me to get back. Just a minute. So yeah, you can have data without information, but you cannot you cannot have information without data. So yeah, just something to spice things up, and it is forming actually our points of reflection point. So the other one is, I mean, we all know that currently we are moving slowly into an era where big data is the starting point and not the end. Previously, we have been looking at data as the end of this entire process of care and treatment. So that, I mean, after clients have been attended to, the files are sent to the data room or wherever, and then it ends there. But now, I mean, it's just a high time now we started looking at it the other way, that big data is no longer the end point, but is the starting point, because if you can make meaningful use of the data that you collect, and when the reason why I'm mentioning this is because we can't talk about data without the reports. I mean, the data that we, for our case, are the reports that we generate. They're the ones that inform us on what we need to do better. All right, so allow me to quickly just highlight some very few reporting prerequisites, and I mean, like I said again, what might be obvious to you might not be obvious to everyone else. For any facility to yield credible and authentic reports, I mean, there are conditions that have to be met. We've had numerous times of a facility complaining that the reports they are generating are not what they expected or what they anticipated, or what or the things the way or they are not representing the things on the ground. Mambo kwa ground inakuwa tofauti. And why? Just probably because there are those who assume that now that it is the end of the month, probably it's the 31st of the month, or it's the first of the month, I can easily just generate a report without even going back to check whether there are any backlogs that have not been entered into the system. I mean, is the system up to date? Do we have any backlogs? And then now, two, have I refreshed the ETL tables? Because I mean, for you to get your output, as much as you're keying your data into the EMR, it doesn't automatically guarantee that you will get your outcomes without you doing some of these prerequisites now. Like I'm mentioning, I mean, refreshing your ETL tables, and then and also sometimes people not specifying the correct reporting period. So those are, to me, are the most that are the three prerequisites to us generating reports that we can call credible and authentic. As long as you have all your data inside, and like there's this common phrase in I mean in data, that garbage in, garbage out. So make sure that all the data that all the encounters for that particular month, with regards to all the clients that were seen, have been captured in the EMR, because if you want us to report from the EMR, all that must be in there. And then ensure that the ETL tables have been refreshed, and specify the correct reporting period. And I'll also not want to just take it for granted that we all know when to use, especially now with the refresh, when to use the recreate table and the refresh table. Yeah, most of that, at the end of every month, we recommend that we recreate the tables. But in the event there's just an encounter that had been missed out and you want it to be included, I mean, a refresh comes in handy. So we all need to know when to use the tool. All right. So that's what I was saying, refresh and recreate tables. So yeah, end of the month, again, I insist it's just good to recreate the tables, and refresh when probably there's an encounter that you need to be factored in your report. It's just a cool thing to also do that. And you'll find we'll be looking at this when we'll be doing the demo from KenyaEMR. So where is the report feature found in KenyaEMR? There's a screenshot from the screens. From your screens, you can see there's that tile called reports. I mean, KenyaEMR has all those tiles there, the registration, triage. So one of those tiles is the reports tile, and that's where you should all be going to when you want to pull your reports. It is one feature that is available to all the users. It is not right it's not tied to some specific rights. You can, because we believe that it's important that we can, each and every person should have there's a leeway to be able to see the reports, and as long as they are facility staffs. All right. The reports are categorized, like Otieno has mentioned. I mean, there's the entire spectrum of care and treatment. And care and treatment, by care and treatment, we are talking of, I mean, HTS. You come down to PrEP. So that is one, the testing bit, the prevention for those who turn negative, and then now care and treatment, those who turn positive. You go down to, I mean, there are other new services that have been added in prevention, like VMMC. You will talk about MCH, both for child and mother. So there's the PMCT aspect. So they have been categorized into that, into those areas, all the way down to, I mean, retention now for, I mean, those that check on missed appointments, and even now there's this whole new aspect of machine learning that was introduced to the EMRs, where you're able to even to tell, I mean, some of the clans from within your clans just project and gives you a heads up on those who are have a high chance of probably becoming IIT, like it was explained in the previous. I think in the other session at last, but I think 2 weeks ago, yes, by Ajuang and Frida. So yeah, so this is these are some of, and also other than that, we also have our programmatic reports, which now come in handy, especially now. I'm not talking about those that have to do with the CQIs. Um, uh, there's this whole week there. These are next week. We're going to have DQAs. So they also fall in here because they are supposed to help in matters to do with just being able to gauge and assess how well the facilities are doing with regards to the offering of the services to our clients. So yeah, so that's how those are the three broad categorization of the reports as they are in KenyaEMR. There's just a snip. What we are seeing currently is, and we will be looking at it when we will be doing the demo. It's just a screenshot of now the broader reporting pen for KenyaEMR. And as you can see, there's that common, those that we refer to as common. That's where basically those the reports that we consider, I mean, that are used on a day-to-day basis, and those that are, I can say, frequently used in a facility are found. So we have the cohort reports where you can go for a cohort analysis. Under HIV, there are a number of reports which you shall be looking at: TB, TPT, MCH mother services, and as you can see now, we have divided the two. It's no longer PMTCT. There's MCH mother services and MCH child services. So just to separate the two. And then now there's OTZ, OVC, and then the key population PrEP, and like I mentioned again, VMMC, which falls under the prevention. All right. Again, a screenshot of some of the reports, especially under common. These are not all the reports under common, because under common reports we have more than this screenshot could take. So, but these are some among the very few common reports. And as you can see, like I mentioned, your HTS monthly report, which you consider, I mean, a common report for those that are utilizing the HTS module, you can just quickly come and pick it there. TX card line list. These are indicators that we are usually asked. We are asked for, the facility are asked for each and every other day. What is your TX card? So you can easily come down here and just query for that, and whether it's on a monthly for the month or for the past quarter. And then there's that clinical action report, again, a very good feature that was added into the EMRs to just help facilities again be abreast of how things are being, just be able to help in matters to do with the quality improvement. So yeah. And on this other side, a number of reports, again, IIT high risk, like the one that I mentioned, which is which is derived from machine learning. And I mean, the linkage and referral register, just to mention but a few. I'll want us to just take this time and get to understand some of. Allow me to introduce you to some of the new reports that have have newly been added to this version of KenyaEMR. That is version 18.42. So and again, while looking at this, I'll go module by module. So under the key population, there are a number of reports that have been added, and there are these reports. Some of these reports used to be there, but they never used to make sense. And we got a lot of feedback from the users that I mean, the reports are not speaking to them as much as some of the facilities were utilizing the KP module. So, and for you to get reports from this, you must be utilizing the KP module. So I understand not too many of our facilities are running or are supporting the KP component. So, but the few that are doing this, I'm talking about the diocese. You should, and if you are utilizing the KP module in KenyaEMR, we'll want you to try and just come and interrogate these reports. And one of them is the KPIF monthly summary. So again, like I said, the reports have been validated to match the MOH indicator definition guide for 731. So the KPIF monthly summary, the PR tracking register, the active KP client line list. We never used to have this, so this is a very new feature. You can easily go and be able to just pull a line list of all your active KP clients, and then again the key population cohort register. So those facilities that are offering a KP service, please just take time from this new module. Try interrogate the reports, and that is if you are utilizing your EMRs effectively. Under prep again, some new reports. So the 731B plus report has been aligned again to the MOH report based on the feedback that we received from the users. So there are areas that they wanted us to align. So that has already been done with actually collaboration with some of you. There were some facilities that were visited to just ensure that this thing is aligned. And so other than that, the prep initiation register. There's a new register now called the prep initiation register for newly enrolled and restarting clients. Never used to be there. So and then the prep follow-up register for the continuing clients. Actually, this one is already has been added to the reports, and it's populating as is required. And then we have also provided a line list for clients currently on prep. This never used to. It used to be so hard for facilities offering your prep to be able to just even get to know or put a line list of clients that were currently on prep. So these have been added based on the output again and feedback that we got from the users. Under PMTCT, there's the PMTCT cohort report developed for maternal and HEI cohort. There's a CWC register developed. We'll be looking at this when we'll be doing the practicals. The partial MOH 711 report developed. New variables added for children under 15 years to capture PAMA status. And then I think the mother of them all is just the inclusion of the PAMA report, which was one of the reports that was actually being requested so much by the service providers. So I mean, I'll be showing you where to go and find the PAMA report. I'm sure this will come in handy to a majority of the facilities in here. And then now there's also the addition of indicator HIV 02-07 on 731 report, which wasn't there. And then we've added also a column for disclosure status and caregiver for PAMA care report. So we'll be looking at this when we'll be doing the practicum again. Other than that, we've also tried to just bring in something on GBV, gender-based violence. So there's a mini GBV register that has been developed. We'll look at it. And also we've provided a line list of GBV clients. Now we should be able to just quickly tell from your EMR how many clients have been reported as having experienced gender-based violence. So these are some of the things that we'll be looking at. Without digressing again, mentioned about machine learning. So there are things that were improved, and I'm sure these were mentioned. The reason why I'm bringing them here is because it is touching on the output now, more of the reports, because machine learning also generates a line list. So it's as much as you're not going to find it from under the reports section of KenyaEMR, but you realize that what you get from machine learning is basically more of a report, yeah, because it speaks to you. So yeah, so what has been done under machine learning, and I'm sure this was covered during the session for ML, was that currently there's risk scores. You're able to sort them in descending order on the IIT score, on the IIT risk score report. And then it is also displaying the risk factors on the patient's line list. So this is just a reminder again, and it is also currently showing the latest risk scores on patient homepage. So as much as they don't fall under the realm of the reports, but it was just good to also mention these while we are covering this, because I mean, there are also outputs that we get from the EMR. Appointments and attrition. There's an addition of a new column on the appointment line list to show those who honored their appointments and those who came before their appointment. So this one, you're able to tell clients who came on the date that they were scheduled, and also those who came prior to their appointment date, those who missed. And then now appointment history records for the last 3 appointments has been added on the client's homepage. So again, like I mentioned, this is not a feature under reports, but being that it is an output that is picked from the EMR, and it is supposed to aid the users from a reporting perspective. Yeah, I had to mention it here. There are so many other amendments that were made to existing reports, and as you can see, the list is very long. I'll try and go just highlight all of them, and for just to before I can even go through the list, it will be good to note that all these has been made possible due to the feedback that we've received from the users. So I mean, so there we had complaints about I mean all the reports, and now allow me to go through what has been fixed. So we have aligned our HEI IDs on HEI register. People used to complain that they could not fathom what the HEI IDs were. It was just a matter of formatting one of the columns. So that has been amended in this particular release. And then now we've had there's a fix that has been done on KenyaEMR OBC line list to exclude clients who are not active on ART. So currently, if you're not active on ART, you are excluded from the KenyaEMR OBC line list. And then there was also a request for us to just on the PrEP initiation. There's a fix on KenyaEMR PrEP initiation, the PrEP register, not to include clients from cohorts outside the specified reporting period. Yeah, it had been reported that there are clients outside the reporting period. Some clients outside the reporting period were featuring within that particular period. I think it had to do with either the first or the last day of the month. So some of the clients were finding their way into this other reporting period. Yeah, that has been fixed with this version, and those who had experienced this will want you to go back and just try and test with the version. We've also fixed KenyaEMR 731 report indicator HIV 02-03 and HIV 02-12 to pick new NCs with known status at first ANC. This again came out from the field, some feedback that we received. We've had a fix on KenyaEMR 731 report indicator HIV 02-14 to pick the correct numbers, again from the feedback. We've also had a fix on KenyaEMR 731 report on indicator HIV 02-21 to pick, fix on KenyaEMR 731 report on indicator HIV 02-39 for infant prophylaxis. And also we have had a fix on KenyaEMR 731 report on indicator HIV 02-43 for HEIs on CTX. Fix a bug in HTS monthly report that was categorizing all clients as new. So yeah, so that has been fixed. And then also there was a fix on PNS accepted indicator, which was not populating any data. So yeah, so those are some of the fixes that were were done, and they came out with this new version. Right. So having said this, I'll just want us to probably now do a quick demo. Just go to some of the reports that have been added, and allow me to now share my instance of KenyaEMR. Right, let me log in first. Okay. Then share this. All right. Can Otieno, can you confirm that what is on the screen now is a version of KenyaEMR?
Yes, we can see the version of KenyaEMR is 18.4.2.
Thank you. So this is the version that we are talking about.
The latest.
Yes, this is the latest version. Yeah. So allow me quickly again to just proceed, Otieno.
Moses. Yeah.
Yes.
There is a comment that you need to raise your voice a little bit.
Oh, I'm not so audible. I'll try and shout. All right. So I'll try and try and amplify my voice. So again, let's. This is where we go for this. This is your typical KenyaEMR homepage with all the tiles like I mentioned. One of the prerequisites that I said is key before you can generate your report is at the end of the month is to come to the ETL admin and just refresh or recreate your tables as is required. So there you are, but I'm not going to do that now. So I'll just go back home. So of interest to us are the reports now. Some of the common reports that we saw are here. So I'll want us to quickly just go through and see some of the new reports that I mentioned in my presentation. And I'll want to start with the ones that I listed under key population. So there's there was a KPF monthly summary. So it is here. This is the left of my screen, the left hand of my screen. Yes. So there's the monthly report, KPF monthly report. So for those facilities that are offering KP services, you can go and interrogate this report. It's a monthly report, so just like any other report, you are supposed to request it and specify the period, and then now pull the outcomes. So yeah, just like you usually do. So I have to I'll at least I'll do this for this one. I doubt there's any information in our test servers on KP, but let's see what this one yields. So we can let's take a view. There's no information. Okay, I can see some slight information in there. There's a one somewhere, but yeah, basically this is yeah, there is some information in here. So, but just shows you that some work has been. There's some effort that has gone down to, enable this report to populate and give you the information that you need. The other report that was again under this was I'll go to. Sorry, I'll go to. I want us to look at the active. Allow me to get to the reports. I want us to look at the active KP clients line list, the one that I mentioned. And as you can see, the line list is down here. Never used to be there. Where my mouse is. So that's the KP active client line list. Again, it's available for use. It's one of the reports that will encourage facilities that are offering KP services to utilize. And then now there is also additionally under KP, there is the active the KP cohort register. It is the second one under the patient follow-up reports. This one is it's supposed to actually, this one should be able to give you the outputs that you need. Because some effort was put into this just to align it to what the indicators say. So yeah, so this is where you can find them. All right. Prep. I mentioned of the 731B report, or the plus. Here it is. So initially, we got a feedback that it was not populating with the correct because the seems like we had not gotten the indicator definitions properly right. But for the facilities offering prep, please interrogate this particular report. There is also the prep initiation register, very critical in facilities that are offering prep. It's here, and under the patient follow-up reports is the first one. And then there is also the prep follow-up register. So initiation and then follow-up. And then there's a line list of clients currently in prep. I mentioned this. This was missing, and it came in as a request from the users. So the clients currently on prep line list, you can easily just be able to pull all the clients that you have in prep in your facility. So it's more or less of your TX card for prep. So that's what we can equate it to that. All right. Under PMTCT, again, divided into MCH mother services and MCH child services. I'll quickly just go to MCH child services, and I'll want to look at one the PMCT cohort report. You can see there's a HEI cohort report here, and also an MOH immunization report. I remember we mentioned the PAMA as one of the reports that were developed, but for you to access it, you have to come to HIV. Allow me to digress. And your PAMA report is right at the foot of your HIV reports under the patient follow-up reports. So there's a PAMA report. And again, some effort has gone into this. So this is it should be able to give you the correct the outputs that you desire. Again, as long as you have updated your EMR, or you have diligently used your EMR. And then now, again, I was meant to, under MCH Child Services, I was meant to show you the CWC register. So MOH 511, it's called, also goes by the code MOH 511. So it is here. It's the last one again under the patient follow-up reports under MCH Child Services docket. So yeah, again, it's for us to go and interrogate, give us feedback. What do you think about the outputs that are being generated in here? Right, under MCH mother services, the maternal cohort analysis is here. And then your patients currently in MCH, you can easily pull them from here. The various registers, that is the ANC, maternity, and PNC registers. Yeah. So those are some of the reports that have been enhanced in this particular version. Right. Allow me to just again look at the GBV reports, those that I mentioned. So you can see there are these two reports that have been listed here. One is called the Sexual Gender-Based Violence Line List. This is a new addition to this to the EMR, and there's the Sexual Gender-Based Violence Register. So that is the mini register that I talked about. So again, if you are utilizing the GBV module, or if there's information that has been filled into the GBV section of your EMR, you should be able to pull these and just get the line list and also that mini register. And again, all this has been done to help us with just to be able to, improve on the time that you used to take, the teams in the facilities used to take to, keep on updating registers and stuff like that. So these are some of the registers that I'll want to talk about. I'll want to digress unless there are questions, but before I open it up for questions and answers, because like I said, I wanted us to keep it brief, because I'm sure there are so many other activities that are happening with especially with the DQA in some of our facilities. I'll also want to just take this time. I'll want to take this time again to bring to your attention about inform you about a new release of DWAPI. So there's a new release of DWAPI, version 3.0.01 that has just been released, and this version is actually it had to be released to again address some of the issues that had been mentioned with the previous version, and even the one that is currently existing. One thing we note is that the upload window is now shut, so we can easily go down to GitHub and just get this and install in our different facilities. Some of the new features and enhancements in this is that the DWAPI queries have been optimized and updated to cater for data completeness on the various extracts in HTS, care and treatment. There was also an issue that had been reported about the inability of the previous versions to actually perform what used to the intended purpose of differential loading. So we used to get complaints that the differential loading and the differential uploads wasn't functioning. So this has now been fixed in this particular release, and we'll want you guys to go out there and test it. And then the DWAPI metrics have been rectified, and the changes focusing on update of ETL refresh metric to check for initial population of tables. So what I mean by this is that it's now going forward, it's not going to be easy for you to just transmit those tail data, because now it will be going to be the DWAPI will be checking for the status of the database, and to ascertain whether the database is stale or current. And all stale data will be blocked from being transmitted. And what can cause, again, a stale data is, just like I said again, our inability not to refresh or recreate the ETL tables before transmitting the data. So this is what has been addressed in this. And also now there's also included the transmission of HTS, risk scores, and the recency ID in DWAPI. And this version also has that feature, has the feature for auto upgrade that enables the systems to upgrade in the background. So it can just, as long as there's internet connectivity, it can just upgrade from the background. Yeah, so that was not. I had to mention this because this came out today, and I thought it wise just to bring to your attention of this very important information. So I'll open it up for probably questions and based on and I'll want Otieno to moderate this from what we've been able to showcase. Otieno.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Moses, for that. I believe that now we are more aware of the existing reports than we were before, and how those reports speak to different cascades of care, from prevention to retention. So I think it is our rallying call that as much as possible, ensure that you go through the reporting panel, check on the report that you feel you need, that you suspect might not be there. And to your surprise, you might just find that that report is there, is available. So always keep checking and ensure that you look at the report that are available at the, in the reporting platform. Yeah, so at this point, I think I'll just give it to question time. So I'll just look at the hands that are there, as well as I'll be monitoring the chat just to see if there is any question. So I've seen several hands. Yes, so I just want to start with Jackie. Just unmute and proceed with the question, please. Jackie? Okay. Let me give it to George Nyanaro. Kindly unmute and proceed.
Okay, thanks very much. I think I want to commend us first for the good job that we've done. I can see we've made a lot of changes that we were requesting for them to be addressed. My question is about the GBV. I've heard the presenter talking about SGBV only. What about the other forms of GBV that we normally capture in our service areas? And the second question was about the 731, MH 731 plus. Regarding the current version that is about to be released, there is no the MH 731 plus. There will only be the MH 731. So the data that was being reported under MH 731 plus will be reported the MH 731. So I don't know if the tools will be rolled out. There will be another version for upgrade, and also under the TB under the PrEP register. I think the new version is not coming with the PrEP register, but the daily activity for PrEP, daily activity register for PrEP. I think you can also touch on that one, and the TB screening. If the TB screening also is addressed, because currently I think the TB screening is being reported cumulatively, but according to the new versions that are coming, the TB screening will be reported on a monthly basis. Those were my questions. Thank you. And back to you.
Thank you very much, George, for the question. I think we've talked about the GBV. You've also touched the 731, as well as the daily activity register for PrEP and TB screening, which you're saying now is supposed to be reported monthly, if I got you right. Okay, so I think we have noted those. Let me give it to, let me just, yeah, let me give it to Rosalind. Rosalind, kindly unmute and proceed. Proceed, Rosalind. Okay, then I'll give it to Nyanaro.
Yeah, thanks Bernard and team for the highlights. Personally, I really like the additional reports and the many features in the system, which really helps us in terms of data utilization at the facility level. So my question was with regards to the refresh of the ETL tables. For example, I'm looking at patients who have failed to turn up for the appointment in a given day. Will that mean that the facility or the clinician has to refresh the ETLs before they get the correct reports? Or how does it work in terms of real-time checking in terms of the status of the patient? I think that's all I had for today. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Nyanaro. I think that one I can just respond to on the fly. So as per the practice, we have an understanding that we have separate schemas for production and also for reporting in KenyaEMR. So it's advisable that you try to refresh the ETL prior to pulling your reports. But basically, I think you should be able to refresh your ETLs every time prior to getting your reports. That will ensure that the reporting tables are up to date and the report you are pulling is most recent. So to ensure accuracy, it is advisable that you refresh prior to pulling your reports. And it never takes so long. I think it's a process that takes very few minutes. Yeah, so let me give the last person, Rosalind, kindly unmute.
Yes. Hello.
Proceed.
Yeah, I'm asking about the new version. Our new version of 18.4.2. We have a new guideline, especially on viral load for mothers pregnant, for PMTCT mothers and Carl HIV. This is not about reporting, but it is about the update of the files, whereby you find mothers who are taken viral load samples in the month of May are due after 6 months. So you find that when we are updating the patient file, especially the PMTCT mothers who are due for VL, the new version still indicate that the patient is not due for VL. I don't know whether it was updated or not. I incurred that when I was updating the files of my clients.
I don't know if I got the question right. Rosalind, could you just state the exact question? Yes.
I come up again?
Yes, please.
Yes, I was asking about the new version, whereby we are, according to the new version, especially on VL uptake, we have a new guideline of PMTCT mothers and Carl HIV being picked, being taken for VL samples after 6 months. That is the new guideline. But when we go to EMR, the new version, it is not updated yet. It seems it's still having the old guideline, whereby when a patient is suppressed, the old guideline, you should take VL after 1 year. In the new version, it is not like that. It is in the new version EMR, it has not been updated. I realized when I was updating the file of the PMTCT mothers.
Okay. Yeah, I think I got that. So your question, you are It's a feedback, I think, from what I get, that KenyaEMR version is not yet updated to reflect the new guidelines for the
Yes.
PMTCT matters. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think, yeah, I'll just
And
take that as a
HIV.
feedback. And college everything.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
So I think I want to invite Zia to just make a quick comment on George's question around the other forms of GBV. I think what the question was that we have only addressed the SGBV, yet there are other forms of the SGBV. And I think the judge is expecting additional reports on other forms of GBV. Then the next question was, the daily activity register for the PrEP. I think there's a question on that. And also there was a question around the TB screening, which is not reflecting as per the new guideline. Kezia, if you are in the meeting.
Hi, thanks, Otieno. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I joined in while the questions were ongoing. But from what you said, there was a question on GBV. And just to respond regarding on what you have worked on, we didn't really look at SGBV alone. If you look at the register, it will show you the form of GBV that is there. But I know why maybe you are seeing SGBVs could be, that's the main one that is being reported. But you'll be able to get a summary of all those who received, who are categorized as GBV, regardless of the form of GBV from that, if it was recorded in the EMR. We have labeled that as a mini GBV register, because not all the variables that are needed to report on the same are available in the EMR or the forms for data capture. So we are still yet to have the full report. But as per the forms of GBV, you should be able to get everything that was documented, whether it was emotional, physical, or sexual. The other one was on TB screening. I'm not sure I got the question right. So maybe you could repeat that, Otieno.
Yes, yeah. I think, the second one was about the TB screening report. It is not as per the new guideline, according to George.
On 731 or on that in report?
On 731.
So maybe I'm not sure exactly what you mean by the guideline, but what we have currently is we are looking at those who are current on ART, and they had a screening done. So if you are looking at those clients who are screened for TB, one, they have to have been active on ART, and then there is a documentation of TB screening in that for their last visit. So that's what we are using. But for that team is a bit different, because we are looking at screening for that whole period. For that team, it's semi-annual. So we are looking at current on ART, but if there was a TB screening within that whole period, 6 months. But 731, we are mainly looking at the last visit only. There was something else on PMCT, where the flag for due for VL is after a year. So I might need to confirm that, because I think even before we got 18.4, we had already worked on the guideline that was there, and we were to get an alert after every 6 months. So maybe we might need to recheck and see if that is in place and if there are any errors or maybe if something broke, then we can have it fixed. Over.
Thank you, Kezia, for that. I think there was a question on emerge 731 where George said that we don't have the emerge. According to the new guideline, we don't have the 731 plus. It's only 731. I don't know if you have a comment on that. And also maybe you could comment briefly on the daily activity register for PrEP.
MOH 731 plus. We have 731 plus for PrEP and for KP. So I am not sure if I got the question right, but those are available. On the DAR for PrEP, I think this was discussed somewhere with the TWG. And I think the main reason why we have a DAR is to help in reporting or in compiling the summary. So for when it comes to EMR, the summary is already done. Hence, it wasn't clear on the utility of the DAR, but if it's still needed, then we can go through the same, involve the TWG again and review what else is needed for the same. But as far the starting point, we had ruled out the need for DAR.
Okay.
Over.
Thank you very much, Kezia, for that. Thank you for that. I'll just maybe give it to the next two hands that I can see raised. Maloba, you could unmute and proceed with the question.
Okay, thank you, Bernard. So I have two maybe questions or rather concerns that maybe you can help shed some light on. So the first one is currently in the current KenyaEMR 18.4.2, when we run a PNS or a family testing register, it's returning blank, while when we do the same on the test environment online, it's returning the client that you have captured. So perhaps maybe some clarity on that, or if there is a way we can do that. So these clients, the kids, the children have been captured, but it's not reflecting on the report. Then two, on the HTS register, when we are capturing, okay, the point is we need to go paperless at our sites. So we are expected to capture all the patient data using the system. So is the PMTCT data, the PMTCT tests also captured into the system? And if so, how is that done? And how do we handle it on at the reports, on the report side? Thank you, and over.
Thank you, Maloba. I hope Kezia has taken note of that. We'll be able to respond. I'll give it to Vincent. Please unmute and proceed. Vincent, please unmute and ask the question. Okay. Then I'll give it to Samuel. Unmute and proceed. Samuel. Okay. As they prepare to ask the question, I think, I don't know, Keze, if you were able to capture Maloba's question around the PNS and around PNS and also the issue of HTS register.
Hi, Bernard.
Yes.
Thank you so much. This is Samuel. My question goes to data team reporting. Of late, we received some few guidance from USAID in terms of some few updates on the hedge bands, majorly on the TX PVLS and the TX Neo. The hedge bands have been actually improved. For the TX Neo, before we used to report up to 50, but now there are a few updates on 50 to 54, 55 to 59. LMS, some of these indicators are supposed to report them quarterly, like the TX New. Do you expect few updates on the KenyaEMR in terms of data team output so that the changes can be able to reflect in the data team output to support us?
Okay.
EAC register, enhanced adherence counseling register. If you look at that we expect at the facility, like when we call these class for EAC, at least we need to have a viral load, the latest viral load for this patient. At least this will be able to help us work on the adherence plan for this patient. But if you look at the output that we are getting, I would request your team maybe to have a deep dive review of the output of the EAC register and see if that register can be able to address or support the clinical team in terms of interventions at the facility level. Otherwise, back to you.
Thank you for that. So you are asking if EMR could be upgraded to reflect the new guidelines on the age bands and also on the EAC register. Okay. So I don't know, Vincent, if you are back online. I think we need to wrap this session up. Vincent. Okay. Yeah, I think we can go with those questions. I don't know, Keze, if you're able to capture the questions.
Hi, Otieno. Yes, I picked some. Let me see. Let me have a go at them, and then you can tell me if I missed anything. There was a question on a concern on PNS and family register not populating. So I think on that we just need to work with the QA team and see what is missing on the package that was shared out. Because if it is working well on the online instance, then we expect the same should be working at the facility. So let's work together with the QA team to check where the issue could be. On the reporting of the HTS, we have a number of we did a fix in the release that 18.4.2. So I think we just retest again to confirm if the change was successful. But what we expect is that on HTS section, we should be able to report all the tests that were done in the facility. And then for the other service delivery points, they will act as just a subset of what has been reported on HTS. On the enhancements requested on the age bands and the EAC, it would be great if we could get all the changes that have been effected on the guidelines and then we can work on them maybe on the upcoming release. Over.
Thank you for that, Kezia. Yeah, I think I want to just emphasize on the last bit from Samuel, which I think was the need for review of the age bands. Yeah, so if you have maybe this information, you can just share it with us. Then we are able to maybe look at it and then pursue how then we can use that as feedback to enhance the EMR. Okay. More questions are coming up from Vincent. Vincent, kindly unmute and proceed. I would like to go and check what is on the chat section. So kindly unmute and ask the question, Vincent. Okay, maybe that's a legacy hand. Let's hear from Edwin. Kindly unmute. Edwin, kindly unmute and ask the question. Edwin? Okay. Seems like that is another legacy hand. So I'll just rush through the chat section if there is any issue that has not been addressed. Yeah, I think we've tried to address most of them. Let me see. Yeah, I can see from Peter and Joka talking about KP cohort register is erroneously picking some data elements wrongly, e.g. populating due date for viral load for clans that are not HIV positive. Thank you for that. We'll take this under review and see where the problem is. Kenneth, the data I get when I download some report seems inaccurate. KP monthly report, what could be the problem? So Kenneth, I'm not very sure if you are talking about the previous KP reports or you are using the latest KP reports. Yeah, if you could just clarify on that, because I know we were able to revise KP reports to make them as accurate as possible. So just get in and maybe confirm if you are using the latest. Thank you, Peter and Joka. You said we need to refer to the MER 2.6.1 for the expanded age bands. We've taken note of that. We'll be able to look at it. Scrolling. Yeah, Vincent Tuching is asking when will the new ERT guidance, guidelines and NASCOP new tools be reflected in the EMR? Yeah, I think Kezia, I don't know if you have that information, or Moses, if you have that information, kindly respond to Vincent. Let me see again. Kindly clarify now to go about PAMA entries in EMR. That is from Divina Mogaka. Okay. Yeah, I think we can make a comment on that. Yeah, so maybe Moses or Kezia, we could respond to Kenneth about he's saying he's running the latest EMR, but is having issues with the KP monthly report. There are some inaccuracies. I don't know if it is some feedback that maybe has been received on this, or if not, if it is something that you can check to see if it is accurate. Yes, yeah.
Okay, thanks, Otieno, and thanks for the questions. I think we haven't received any feedback since we released the revised report. So I think we can work with the person encountering that challenge, and we test for fixing if there is any issue.
Okay. The last question, I think because of time, is about the COVID-19 report. Clifford is saying that the figures on the new reports are much lower than what they had on 18.3.0, and also what is on the COVID dashboard. So he's wondering if we revised the variables for this report.
Otieno, if I may pick that up, on COVID-19 report, we revised the report to include a specific period report. Initially, it was giving us cumulative. So what we did is to include the start and end date. So if you are running for a report for November, from 1st to 31st, it will only show you for those clients within the period that you've specified. So if you want to see the cumulative number, you should use dates since when the COVID module started being used up to date for you to have the cumulative numbers. So the plan to fix this confusion, as has been reported, is to have two reports. So maybe in the next release we'll see two COVID-19 reports, one with a specific period and the other one as we had it earlier with cumulative numbers. But as of now, if you want to see the cumulative numbers, you run a report from October 2021 up to date. You'll be able to see the entire numbers as from when the COVID module started. So that could be the reason we are seeing some few gaps. Maybe just to mention, Otieno, with your permission, about PAMA report. There are things you need to do for you to get for the report to populate. One, for all your children, you need to create a relationship. We have added a primary caregiver and a relationship. So for your child to be counted as a client who is enrolled at a PAMA, you first have to link them to a primary caregiver, and the start date. Under relationship, there is a start date. So the start date you indicate there should be the date they were enrolled to PAMA, and that's what will populate your report. So if you don't fill those two things, then your report will remain at 0. Over.
Thank you for that. I hope Mogaka this year and somebody else who asked about the PAMA. I hope you now know what you needed to do. For you to get the reports, you must have created the relationships with the primary caregiver, and also the date of the start date of that relationship should be the same date as the date of enrollment. So you may want to just check on that, and should you have any issues on those, please reach out to us through the service desk. We'll be able to guide you accordingly. So I think we are winding up on the questions. Yeah, I think Maloba is suggesting that you need to separate the prep initiation reports as well as the KP reports. I don't know if this is very clear. Okay. All in all, will be, if we have not sufficiently responded to your question on the chat, after this call, we'll be picking them and having them on a spreadsheet where we'll be able to respond to all of the pending questions that we're not able to respond to today because of time. So I don't know if maybe there is any additional comment. If not, then I think we may want to just initiate the closure for today's session. Yes, and I think also there was a mention about the new DWAPI release. So I just want to reiterate the importance of updating the DWAPI instance, even as you prepare to submit your data later in the later in the month. So up to that point, I think I just want to take this opportunity to first of all thank all the participants for staying in right up to the end of this. And I hope we have learned something. And I think the rallying call here is for us to go back and just look at all the reports that are available, see what is missing, give it to us as feedback so that we can always continuously improve in terms of providing the relevant reports that suits your needs and also revising them accordingly. So at this point, I don't know if maybe Kea, if you have maybe some final remarks from the presentation and also some final remarks from Kezia and Diana before I give it to Faith. I hope Faith you are in. Then we close. Moses?
Well, thanks, Otieno, and thanks everyone for making it to the meeting. My parting shot will be, I know there could be some other areas that we've not fully probably, the other reports that we have not fully addressed. But one thing we can assure is that it's work in progress, and like they say, continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. So let's keep trusting the process, and be part of this journey and help us point areas that you'll want improved. Just like I was able to showcase on a majority of the areas that we had improvement. So yeah, we are in this together, and we are looking forward on you cooperating with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Moses. Kezia, if you want to make a comment.
Yeah, thanks, Otieno. I think I will just echo what Moses has said. We are committed to ensuring that we give or the EMR generates the expected outputs, accurate and complete. And we can't do that without your support. So keep the feedback coming, and we will endeavor to fix and make them as usable as possible for you. So always reach out through the service desk or to individuals, and we'll be able to work on whatever issue you may be having. Thanks.
Thank you, Kezia. So I think at this point, I just want to give it to Faith to maybe make the final remark before we close for today's session. Thank you, and welcome, Faith.
So thank you, Otieno. Confirm you can hear me. Otieno, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So first, I think is
I can hear you.
All right. So first is to appreciate the very positive feedback from the team of attendees, let me call them like that, and the people who are working with us at the subnational levels and especially at the facility levels. I think whatever feedback we have received, and I think it's just time that is a constraint, they still have more that they need to share in regard to the reports that they are generating and the usefulness of the reports to them, especially at this particular time. So we take it back with a lot of positivity. And for us, I think it's a step for us to improve or up our game in terms of ensuring that the reports that are created from the systems are really report, or they are actually helping you in terms of meeting your needs. So we will make sure that we put that at the back of our minds and we work hard towards it. And then I think for me, I'll just take
We lost you. Hello, Faith. I think we lost your audio. Okay. Sorry, Faith. I think there's been a network issue there. Let me try to find Faith. Sorry for that, Faith. I think yeah, we lost you at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, apologies for that. I got dropped off by the network, but I hope now I'm back.
Yes, you are.
All right. So I was just saying that we take the feedback with a lot of positivity. And I think for us, it's a challenge to be able to ensure that whatever we generate as reports is actually responsive to the needs of the users. And so I was just saying about the take-home message, which is a bit urgent for us, is adoption or customization of the new tools to make sure that I know the practice has begun at facility level, more so adhering to the new viral load guidelines for all ages, because I think there's a difference for everyone. So we even expect amongst our new clients to have them coming back after 3 months. So if we started utilizing the guidelines in the month of September, this month, we expect some clients to already come back for our first viral load, especially for the pregnant mothers and those ones aged below 25 years. And so I think we will work towards that, ensure that our systems are customized to be able to generate the right reports and be able to give you expected outputs in regards to the new guidelines. And then also for the reporting platforms, we want to enhance use of the expanded air, because I think we want to reduce the amount of data entry into our 731. And the purpose why expanded air was built is to make sure that even for areas that data is not captured through the EMR, you can populate it on your 731, which is already an automated form in your EMR, and then you can be able to submit it at the end of the month. So I think come the next year, we will be very active to make sure that we have very good use of expanded air and automated indicator reporting moving forward. So thank you so much for the session. I appreciate the presenters from Palladium. Thank you, Bernard, Moses, Kezia, and the team for the good work. I think it was quite informative. And as I said, sometimes we ignore a few simple things, but you can see the feedback from the participants is really informative. So I think it's a step in the right direction. And again, on behalf of my team lead, Dr. Madiba, apologies, he was not able to join. He's in a very, he's really engaged in some meeting, but we have his blessings. And he really says hello to everybody. I don't know whether Otieno will be having another session on Thursday.
Yes, but we will have another session on Thursday.
But that will be the last one, yeah?
Yes, the very last one.
Okay. All right. So let me reserve my Christmas greetings and wishes to everybody until Thursday. So just make sure you pull a friend so that we can all have a virtual Christmas carol. I don't know how that happens, but we shall learn on that day. So thank you very much, everybody, and do have a lovely evening. Back to you, Otieno.
Thank you very much, Faith. I'm looking forward to the Christmas carols virtually. That will be a new one. Thank you very much. So as I've just said, next week, on Thursday, not next week, sorry. This Thursday, we are going to have our last virtual session in the series, which is going to focus on the integrated ushauri. We have talked about ushauri and IL, but this time around, we are going to have ushauri version that has been integrated within KenyaEMR. So the session will highlight how that works, how that integration works, and how KenyaEMR can now directly exchange messages between with ushauri seamlessly. So it will be a very exciting session, and I would really, really wish to urge you to attend, and please tell someone to tell someone so that we all get trained on that. So I'll be seeing you on Thursday on behalf of our presenter and also on behalf of the facilitators. I've been your host, Bernard Otieno. I hope you have a great evening. So thank you, and let us meet on Thursday.
Thank you, Bernard, and bye, everyone.